Hey everyone, happy August 2nd. It's 9 p.m. It's really late. I don't know why I'm doing this so late. I was actually thinking this morning at like 6:30, it's like, oh, I know what I'm going to talk about today. And all day went along and I didn't talk about it. And now here it is, middle of the night. And it's weird. I left home because Ruhi's working and my finger's in the way. And I didn't want to, I'll put this over here. And I didn't want to disturb what she was doing, and also had to think, and it's easier to talk in these when I'm by myself for some reason. So what I wanted to talk about originally was about criticism and being critical of people, and kind of the positive and the negative way of doing that and stuff like that, but I decided to talk about that some other time. So then I was going to talk about this conversation I had online with my friend JB, who might be watching. How you doing? And about losing weight and stuff like that. But I was like, yeah, I'm not going to talk about that. So tonight we were watching this show on Netflix called Chef's Table. If you haven't seen it, it's amazing. It's a series. It's been 2 seasons. It's a documentary TV series Netflix produced. And it goes and one, it's just amazingly filmed and produced. It's beautifully shot, just fantastically shot, and it's sort of goes into the first the first episode at least, talked about this guy Massimo in Modena in Italia, and it kind of showed his journey and his approach to cooking. He's like his restaurant is the 3rd best restaurant in the world according to Zagat's or something. And his food is just beautiful to look at. It's like artwork, but his approach is just so kind of unique, and it really got me thinking about just having this approach to excellence. Both Ruhi and I were saying afterwards, we watched it and we're like, wow, that just makes me want to be really good at something, like really pursue excellence in whatever I'm doing. So like web design, it just makes me want to be a way better web designer, like find the way I express myself through my work and really excel at that and make it amazing, and having that pursuit of excellence. And it's really, a lot of people, I've always been sort of considered myself like a jack of all trades sort of thing, which to be honest, I don't really like. I wish I was only good at, well, okay, this is going to sound really conceited. I was going to say I wish I was only good at one thing, and that makes it sound like I think I'm good at everything, but I don't. I'm terrible at a bajillions of things. But I have too many interests, I should say. So I wish I had a really focused interest in like one thing, and that was the thing I was really all about. Instead of like, I'm interested in wushu, and I'm interested in web design, I'm interested in digital drawing, I'm interested in music, I'm interested in learning languages and in traveling and in going to school and blah, 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 blah. All these things are interesting to me, and I like getting good at all of them. So it means I don't really excel or be amazing at any of them. So I wish I had more focus in that area to really excel at something, like at an extremely high level. I think that would be awesome and amazing. And I've been actually saying that for years. So if you know me, you probably have heard me say that before. Well, we're going to be really good at something. And it's still true. But I really feel like it's important for us to focus our energies on one thing at a time. There's been studies about the fact that multitasking is not a real thing. You're not actually multitasking. You're making minute, really small, like nano shifts in your attention between different things. So when you think you're talking on the phone and you're checking your email at the same time, you're not. You're actually going back and forth between the two things over and over and over. And it turns out that they did studies, and the brain function lowers to a point by doing that, by multitasking on more than one thing. Your brain function actually goes lower than it would if you were smoking pot. So if you're smoking pot, you actually have higher brain function than somebody who's multitasking, which is why I really try not to multitask. I try not to do 2 things at once, because I know my efficacy in those 2 things just drops dramatically. So I try and just do one thing. If I'm at the gym, I'm just going to be at the gym. I'm just training out and working out. I'm not going to have a conversation. I'm not socializing. I'm there to work out. If I'm teaching Tai Chi, that's all I'm doing. I'm teaching Tai Chi. I'm not there to like talk about other stuff. It's just about Tai Chi. If I'm working on a website, then I just want to work on that website. I don't want to have conversations. I don't want to be distracted with other things, which is why I used to have these big headphones, so that when I worked, people would see that I had these huge headphones, they would assume I'm listening to something and I can't hear what they're saying. Actually, I never listen to anything when I'm working, rarely. I just put those on so people wouldn't bother me, so I don't have to shift my attention away from what I'm working on. Because getting in that zone of focus takes effort and work. It takes work to focus on one thing for an extended period of time. There's so many distractions in our modern world. It's not like the old days when we had artisan like level of things, right? So you're making bread and there's no phone call, there's no guy coming by to disturb you from your bread making because you're out in the countryside and there's no one out there except your horse, and you're just doing the thing, or you're plowing the field and there's nothing to do but focus on that one task and do it amazingly, right? So that to me is the sort of perspective or the sort of approach that I want to be taking to things. But because of our modern world and technology and all this media, we're constantly being distracted by things around us. Whether it's Facebook, yeah, I mean, you can easily say social media is distracting, but just the context of being distracted by advertisements in daily life, billboards, movies, everything around us is a distraction, because we don't have that lifestyle that we've had for hundreds of thousands of, if not millions of years, where we're just doing one thing at a time and just really getting focused on that one thing. And that's the way our brain is supposed to operate. It's not supposed to do a million things at once. We're not supposed to operate at this crazy high intensity capacity. Intensity is good, but intensity with focus is what it's about. And so that's what I'm trying to do. I really, this TV show got me thinking about the importance of focus, the importance of single tasking, they call it. I call it, someone calls it, the necessity to really lose yourself in sort of the zen or the zone of what you're doing, and really just there's this book by George Leonard called Mastery. He was this writer for, I think, for Esquire magazine or something, but he wrote a book. He studied Aikido later in life, and he wrote a book on the process of mastery and the master's journey, right? And one of the things he talked about was this sort of zone that you get in when you sort of have a practice of something. And he talked about how just getting in the car and driving across the bridge and going to the dojo, and then going into the thing and bowing and getting your clothes on and tying your gi correctly and sitting down in seiza and just going through the motions of stretching and all these things that you had to do every class, got him in this mindset of the single tasking mentality, this focused zone. And that's why a lot of sports people have rituals. They have things that they do every time, because it gets them in that mindset of focus. And so maybe it's just a matter of finding those rituals for you, the thing that makes you focus on that one thing, to get you there. So I'm going to try and really become even more focused on focusing, if that's a thing. So when I'm doing schoolwork, I'm focused on the schoolwork. I'm not going to be distracted by other things going on or whatever. When I'm working on work, then I'm just focused on the work. And I did a really good job of that today. I actually was really focused on getting stuff done for my client and working on that today. And I got quite a bit done for them. And even though I didn't get everything on my to-do list done, I always put the most difficult things first so I can get those out of the way. I got the things I needed to get done first out of the way, and so I was able to be really productive. So I didn't get a lot of stuff done, but I feel great about the things I did get done because I did them with intention and purpose and focus, which I think is important. So yeah, that's what I was thinking about this evening after watching that documentary, Chef's Table. It's on Netflix. If you have Netflix, check it out. If you don't have Netflix, man, for $8 a month, it's a really good deal. You get to watch so much stuff. The original programming is becoming really amazing. But anyway, my battery's low. It's been 9 minutes, way too long. Gotta go. I'll post this up. I hope you're all doing fantastic, amazing, excellent, great. Be good to each other, and keep on keeping on.